to you guys what's going on. So in these instances, these alleged misrepresentations, let's call it that, all right?
This story involving Marcellus Wiley has taken another turn, and with every update, the situation seems to become even more involved. That's actually why I waited before covering it, because it was obvious more information was likely to surface. Some people wondered why I hadn't talked about it yet, but since the arrest happens during the 4th of July weekend, it seemed unlikely he would appear before a judge immediately. Waiting for verified reporting made more sense than reacting too early. Now, TMZ has shared additional details, including Marcellus Wiley's public response to Anna Marie Wiley's divorce filing and the temporary restraining order she was granted. In that response, Wiley flatly rejected the accusations that have been made against him. After Anna Marie filed for divorce and obtained the temporary domestic violence restraining order, the former NFL player posted a statement on X addressing the situation directly. He said his children mean everything to him and that protecting them while maintaining their relationship with both parents has always been his biggest priority. Wiley also explained that because Anna Marie's accusations became public, he believed he had no choice but to answer with evidence rather than emotion. He added that he feels responsible for creating an honest record of what both he and his children have experienced. Wiley went on to argue that he considers himself the victim in this case. He accused Anna Marie of putting a voodoo curse on his family, making major parenting errors, and claimed that after leaving the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, her behavior dramatically changed. He also maintained that making his family's private issues public was never something he wanted. In his statement, Wiley said he never intended for his family's personal struggles to become public, whether for divorce leverage or any other reason, although he believed this moment was eventually inevitable. His comments came after a judge approved Anna Marie's request for a temporary domestic violence restraining order. As things stand, the order bars Wiley from contacting Anna Marie, requires him to stay away from her and their 3 children, forces him to leave the family home, and gives Anna Marie temporary sole custody while Wiley has no visitation rights at this time.
She calls the cops. She calls the cops on him because she alleged that the day before she called the cops, he poked her in the cheek, pokes her in the cheek, calls the cops, says that like she's fearing for her life. The cops asked her 7-year-old daughter, who was allegedly in the room, hey, did you see mom get poked in the cheek by dad? Daughter's like, I ain't seen nothing. Either way, the cops said that they found enough evidence that there was some sort of bodily harm that Marcellus, he ended up going to jail. Y'all know the vibes. If somebody gets called on domestic battery, domestic assault, domestic anything, somebody is going to jail. Here's where it gets interesting. Remember, that happened in Orlando, Florida, just a couple days ago, July 4th weekend. Where it gets interesting is like, after the cops were called for that incident, it was then found out that there was a rape allegation. Okay, that's Marcellus. But y'all, that's not where the story stops. Because who the hell is Anne Marie, his wife? Well, Anne Marie is coming to fame of her own. How the hell did that happen? Anne Marie in 2023 got cast on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I both know Anne Marie and I know her replacement. Acho, how the hell you know her replacement? Because she only lasted 1 season. Okay, so Anne Marie, she was adopted. She's currently on like a hunt to find her biological parents. Well, how do I know that? Because she took that hunt to Nigeria. Now, there was a video of Anne Marie that has since been deleted, looking very familiar with this wealthy man in like this Nigerian club. It got sent to me privately because obviously I'm Nigerian. So my Nigerian friends were like, hey, ain't this Marcellus's wife? I saw that video like a month and a half. I started doing my Googles. I was like, that's interesting. She looks far too familiar with the man that's not her husband, leaned over, smiling, key. That's separate from the allegation incident. I just found that interesting. But remember, I saw them later to track meet, so I'm thinking, oh, it's all smiley in paradise. It wasn't all smiles in paradise. Anne Marie was on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. She lasts a season. After the season, she gets kicked off. Again, who's Anne Marie? Anne Marie is a nurse anesthetist, not an anesthesiologist. The difference is a CRNA doesn't necessarily have to go to med school, so there's less schooling. Anesthesiologists can administer anesthesia by themselves. And a nurse anesthetist has to, in certain states, have an anesthesiologist kind of supervising them. That's the difference. Anne Marie appears to have, as of late, come into some fame of her own, or wanted to come into fame of her own. Okay, here's what's interesting though. In Anne-Marie's goodbye message, after finding out she wasn't going to be included in Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, she says, and I quote, this is a caption from an Instagram post, "What I am is a woman, a proud Black woman who is truly blessed with a wonderful, strong Black man as my husband, who lifts me and our 4 wonderful children up with so much love and positivity on the daily," she wrote. "Who is truly blessed with a wonderful, strong Black man as my husband, who lifts me up and our 4 wonderful children with so much positivity on the daily." It's interesting to me because Anne-Marie is coming to some fame of her own. Marcellus has had fame of his own. I worked with Marcellus 2 hours a day, every day, for 2 years, 240 shows a year. Marcellus, if y'all know, because I've had to argue with the man, can be very antagonizing, if you will. Difficult to argue with. Anne-Marie, she, in my experience, is equally volatile. Again, I ain't been in their rooms. I don't know what the hell did happen or didn't happen. I just know the allegations. What I do know is timelines. 2012, Anne-Marie alleges Marcellus raped her and tried to shoot it to a couple of her friends, alleges. 2014, they get married. I'm confused. 2012, Anne-Marie alleges Marcellus raped her, tried to shoot at a couple of her friends. 2014, they get married. 2024, not on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, says, truly blessed, wonderful man is my husband who lifts up me and my 4 children. But the accusations state that Marcellus has a pattern of physical violence, verbal violence, emotional violence, financial abuse, and because of all the abuse, there are certain gaps and lapses in her memory. It's a tragic situation, not just for the adults, but really for the 4 children. Marcellus Wiley Jr. met young Buck. That's Marcellus's son. The other 2 daughters, I've been to their house, people. I've been to their house. A tragic situation for all parties involved.
Marcellus Wiley and his arrest down in Florida. I'm very skeptical of the story. How did this guy get arrested for putting his finger on the cheek of his wife in some sort of argument? She claimed Marcellus her in 2012 while he was intoxicated and tried to sleep with 2 of her friends the same year. My contention would be that if that is true, if he flirted with, it's like she never forgot that and that's always been in her back pocket. If his narrative is true and if he's been falsely accused, he's been sleeping with the enemy the entire time and unaware and or naive. A finger to the cheek and you burn this man down to the ground? That's tough. But men are idiots. Holy cow. Is this world rigged against men? You can call the police, say, yesterday morning, my husband threatened me and poked me in the face, and now I want you to arrest him and take him off to jail. Huh? Headlines can go out. Marcellus Wiley arrested for domestic battery. Look at that picture now. That's a look like, oh, so this is how they got me.
At this point, there are clearly 2 very different versions of what's happened. On one side, a judge determined there was enough basis to issue a temporary restraining order right away. On the other, Marcellus Wiley is publicly insisting that he's the one who has been treated unfairly. Those positions couldn't be more different. So now, I want to hear from you. Based on what we've seen so far, do you put more weight on the court's decision, or do you find Wiley's public response more convincing? Drop your thoughts in the comments because this story is still unfolding and it doesn't seem like we've heard the final chapter yet. If you found this update helpful, don't forget to leave a like. And if you haven't subscribed already, make sure you do so because we'll continue covering every major development as this story moves forward. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.